Hello there and welcome to the Reflection Show with me, Martha and Spice. Today we want to have an overview, have a conversation about some of the impact stories that NORSAC have been implementing over the years, or let me say for the past few years on the Power to Youth project. If you are in Tamale or in the northern part of Ghana, or even the whole Ghana, and you follow NORSAC on social media, you should know that they are implementing the Power to Youth project program. Pardon me. And there have been so many success stories coming out from this program, making sure that young people are more assertive, young people are more bold and more outstanding. This cannot happen if there are not some great brains behind this program. I'll be having a conversation with some personnel from NORSAC to help us delve deep into this conversation. Let's take a breather. We'll be right back. I am Martha and Spice. There, welcome back to the Reflection Show with me, Martha and Spice. It's all about the Power to Youth program. You know, once you just hear the name, Power to Youth, you see, as a youth, you need some power. NORSAC is giving us that power to be bold and outstanding. How can we use it? What are some of the strategies that they are using to help us to give us that power? Is it power to just get up and say, power is for me, so I can do this or that? No. Their power is being strategized, and we need to align our potentials with that power so that we can work with them accordingly. I have two big women and a big man in my studio today to help us look at the Power to Youth program that NORSAC is implementing. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
So I have here with me Alasan Halima Tusadia. She's a project assistant with NORSAC, and Mark Kubuga. I hope I got that correct.
Oh, yeah.
He's a communications officer at NORSAC, and Ayuna Bernes, also a project officer at NORSAC. Thank you so much for joining me on the show.
Thank you.
Let's have a conversation. NORSAC has been my family. Let me see. Officially, 2021 or before? Yes, but officially 2021. And I think we have sped up our working relationship with a lot of stuff. Now let's look at the trending program. Hey, everywhere you go, NORSAC, everywhere you go, Power to Youth. Hey, Charlie, what is the Power to Youth all about, Bernice?
Okay, so I would like to start with Power to Youth. We have a slogan. It says Power to Youth, then we say change starts with you.
So when you say Power to Youth,
we say change starts with you.
Okay, so say it and let's respond.
So Power to Youth,
change starts with you.
Yes, and then we do this.
Let's do it well. Let's do it well.
Okay, so Power to Youth,
change starts with you.
Okay, so the literal meaning of this change starts with you is that before you can see a change in your community, in your region, in your country, the change, you have to start that change. If you decide that, in a community where maybe there is this gutter that has the stench all the time, and you decide as an individual to probably work on the gutter, clear the rubbish and all that, that change alone can influence someone to also do it the next time. So that is just the whole issue about change starts with you. But we always say it as change starts with youth, because we believe that the older generation, they are gone with their perceptions and all that, but if we start with the youth, as at the time they will get to that point where the older generation is now, whatever change we want them to, we want to reflect at that time would also show. So the Power to Youth program is a 5-year program. We call it a global program because it is implemented in 7 countries, and Ghana is one of them. It started in 2021, and the main agenda for the program is to increase the agency of young people, but especially adolescent girls and young women, around 3 key issues. So the first issue is unintended pregnancies. So unintended pregnancies here on the program, we define it as pregnancy that is not planned. So like teenage pregnancy, a teenager is too young to mother a child because she herself needs mothering and nurturing. And then we also have harmful practices. Harmful practices here on the program, we look at female genital mutilation and then Kayaye. And then we also have sexual and gender-based violence. So we look at rape, we look at any violence meted against someone because the person is of this gender.
Okay.
So
there are four main components as you've mentioned. So I've heard sexual and gender-based violence.
Yes. Unintended pregnancy. And then harmful practices.
Yes. These are the three areas
the program is centered on. Yeah, and then also it is being implemented in Ghana by a consortium of 3. Okay. We have GH Alliance, we have Songtaba, and we have NORSAC. Okay. But NORSAC is the key partner on the program.
Is the big partner.
Yes. So we are leading the Ghana consortium. So we for NORSAC and Songtaba, we implement in the communities. Okay. So under Part Youth, we are supposed to implement in 40 communities in 10 different districts. Okay. Yes. And then for GH Alliance, they are
40.
Yes, 40 communities.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah. And then for GH Alliance, their role on the program is basically about the CSO Learning Hub and also policy influencing at the regional level, which is Accra. We work in 5 regions, but majority of our interventions are around 4 regions because Accra is mostly used for the policy influencing aspect of the program. So the CSO Learning Hub, how we work around that is we have youth groups we work with on the program. So we believe that as we keep on increasing their capacity and strengthening their capacity in terms of group dynamics, their structures and all that, we are hoping to integrate them into the program on the CSO Learning Hub. Okay. So that is what the role of GH Alliance on the program.
Okay, I'll come back to you on that. Let me come to Halima on the, so Palsy, she's mentioned 40 communities. Let's look at with the young people, with the youth, as you go into the communities and taking us through what you, PTY is expected of us to do. How is the response like?
Yeah, thank you very much for the question. So with my engagement with PTY, I am actually representing young people on PMEL, Planning, Monitoring, Evaluation, Research and Learning, commonly known as MAE. Okay. So we are 3 young people on the MAE team.
Okay, so it's like the MAE, let me say official team, but they are giving opportunity, they are giving power. I want to break it down. So when you get to organizations, you have the administrative, you have the MAE, you have those things. Yeah. So MAE officers in NORSAC, or let me say the PTY, have given power to some young people to join their team to also learn. So that is what P is what? Planning, monitoring, evaluation, research and learning. I like that learning aspect. So the power has been given to you to learn under the MAE. Okay.
Yes. So we are 3, all females, and the idea was that the main MAE persons on PTY were all males. So they wanted to break that gender stereotype around.
They've done very well.
So we are all females from each consortium partner. I'm representing NORSAC. Okay. Yeah. So as Youth PMEL, we have been engaged in monitoring of some of the activities implemented at the community level. And what I have seen at the community level is that though young people are now coming up to participate actively, the empowerment we are giving them, some of them are responding positively, even to the extent that they come up with their own initiatives at the community level, calling to Power to Youth program for sponsorship to implement them. However, we still have difficulty with some other people because you go there to meet the group and then the response they are giving you is, are you giving us money?
Oh, I'm glad you are hearing that yourself.
How much are you bringing?
Even when you ask them to take attendance, it's an issue.
Yeah. How much are you bringing for us? And especially when they see that you are from an NGO, that's just the idea. So the moment you start talking about the key issues, they are not really, most of them are not really interested because they want, give us money to start business, give us money to do this, give us money to do that. They overlook the key issues that surrounds their own communities. So that's some of the challenges we have. But overall, I would say that we have more young people coming out, identifying these issues in their communities themselves, doing the mobilization and others, and actively participating than even those who originally do not want to, come up. And one other good thing is that initially those who didn't want to come up, after seeing the engagement with other young people, they come up themselves. And that's the change we are talking about. Some few people have owned up to start initiating the change, they become role models to others to also emulate. So that's just a good thing overall.
Great.
So-
Let me come to, if not, he'll beat me. I'm being biased. Mark, from the communications perspective on PTY, you are more in social media. They are speaking more about the field and the policies. How has the response been on social media? Do you think that as they go to the communities and they're implementing these things, sometimes when you are on the communities and it's not on social media, people think that you're actually not working.
Yeah.
Because everything is now on social media. How has the response been like on PTY?
All right. Thank you very much for the question. So on PTY, coming to the communications aspect of it, we are also 3 people from the various partners, the
Okay.
consortium partner. We have Songtaba, GH Alliance, and NOSAC.
Okay.
And as NOSAC being the lead person, the communications leading the 2 other
Okay.
team members. So looking at the community level, some of them actually use social media, but then they do not know how to use it to advocate for issues that affect them. So usually when we go to the communities and then you take pictures, you have interactions with them and then you post them, at the end of the day, when they see that, they realize that no, social media is actually a powerful tool I can use to advocate for issues that affect me. So at the end of the day, they try to look at what we do and then replicate it at their own levels. We have several occasions we took them through social media advocacy, activism, and then all that to see how we can build their agency to come up with innovations and ideas and how to engage or advocate for issues in their communities without even necessarily we being into the community.
Yeah.
So basically, as part of the core mandates of the Power to Youth program is to ensure that the young people are in the front or leading the program and then all that. So we also build their agency. So whenever they go there and then they see issues, we don't necessarily need to go to the community. They just pick them up and then we give them technical support from behind.
Okay.
So basically, that's the general feedback we get from people in
Great.
social media.
Yeah.
Young people now have the capacity to advocate, to use social media to advocate for issues. And then you can, when you check our social media statistics, you realize that we are not just reaching out to only young people in Ghana, but then outside Ghana. We get young people from Uganda, that's also an implementing country.
Partner, yeah. Country.
We get young people from Malawi, Indonesia, also connecting with our young people down here in Ghana. And that even creates a wider network for them to connect and then learn from each other people, each other from the other country. So basically, we are getting positive feedback, though there might be backlashes on other things, but we have not experienced that. I think we are being we carry it very professional. And we engage them right from the community level to the national level.
Yeah, and Power to Youth, when I say it's everywhere, it's everywhere. When I was in Exeter, they used to call me MTN. But it's like, once I heard Power to Youth, you have not taken my MTN over me. Because it's like everywhere in Northern region now, it's NOSAC. And I think that, I don't know, I stand to be corrected, but it's like PTY has also in a way positively projected NOSAC in a certain way. You've had other projects, of course, but PTY has, let me say, complemented the project and even the organization and made it bigger. Now, let me talk about one of the things I like about the PTY is the YISC. Because the Matter is Christ Foundation has been a beneficiary of the YISC. Ben, what is YISC? What is the YISC? Okay, so the YISC is a YISC project. And PTY is a program.
Yes.
Okay, so take us through YISC.
Okay, so YISC actually is I don't know if it's an acronym or an abbreviation. It's an acronym, yes.
Okay.
So it means Youth Initiative Small Grants.
Okay.
It's one of the strategies employed on the program. It was actually launched last year. And the reason for it is a sub-granting scheme that is used on the program to help youth groups. So the youth groups come up with their ideas on the projects they want to implement. And all we do is to support them with the funds to implement these projects. And at the end of the day, we are supposed to track their progress and also see if there are any outcomes that come up as a result of the implementation they've done. So last year we had about 10 youth groups, and The YISC has actually impacted the program positively.
Yeah.
In terms of our indicator targets last year, we had an increase in our indicator targets. I think Halima will talk more about that because she's the MNE. Yes, and then
so
also...
just take us through the process. I believe maybe next year you open it again, right?
Yes.
So somebody might be watching.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and as a result of last year's implementation too, we had an increase in our thematic areas. We only work, on the part of we work under unintended pregnancy, sexual and gender-based violence, and harmful practices. But for last year, we had a youth group working under widowhood rights, and then also we had another working under working with people with disability. Yes, and then for this year we have successfully launched the YISC cohort 2. So for this one we have last year's sub-granting scheme was for flexible grants and then small grants, and then this year it is flexible grants and then system development as a result of key learnings we had from last year's implementation.
Great, yeah.
So for this year's flexible grants, we are giving grants to funds, to youth groups that have a capacity around handling funds and also implementation. But for the capacity building aspect, the system development stream, we are looking at youth groups that need capacity strengthening around issues like their group dynamics, their structures, or even just general capacity strengthening when it comes to even writing proposals and requirements, basic requirements. So it has been successfully launched, and this year we are having 13 YISC grantees. Yes. So they have been given grants, and so we have 10 grantees that have been given funds to implement. And these 10 grantees are implementing in all our implementing districts. So we are hoping that this year, at the end of the day, we will say that each year's grantee is representing one of our implementing districts. And then also for the system development, we have 3 youth groups under them. So they have started implementation. Very soon we'll be going for monitoring just to track progress on what has been done so far, and possibly advise if there is any way forward. Yes.
Okay. Halima, let me come to you on that side. MNE, what have you learned? What did you plan? What have you monitored? What have you, what's the name, evaluated? And what have you learned?
All right, so just like we're talking about, on PTY, one of the principles is the meaningful youth participation that they have consciously integrated onto the program. So we have our youth empowerment teams, Youth PNO, my group, then Youth in Comms, then we have GTA focal people, and then we have smart youth journalists, and then youth champs. So for Youth PMO, we were assigned to monitoring the YISC activities specifically. And for YISC, we started last year, and I was fortunate to monitor about 3 groups. And what I saw as an individual was that the initiative, personally for me, was a great one, because initially the initiative just came to empower young people to just identify issues in their communities, come up with proposals to be supported with to implement them. But latter part, we realized that it is also a sustainability strategy for the program, because the program will end in 2025. As at then, the young people we have engaged on YISC might have the capacities to write proposals, seek for funding, retire funding. So even after YISC, they may be able to apply for other, other grants to implement at their community level. So one, as a male person, I felt YISC was a sustainability strategy on the program, which would go a long way to keep these groups alive even after PTY. Then secondly, on the impact of YISC on PTY generally, I think Bernice just mentioned it has scaled up our thematic areas. We're just looking at 3: SGBV, harmful practices, and then unintended pregnancies. But widowhood rights came, SRHR with persons with disabilities also came in, scaling up the thematic areas. And the communities as well, were operating in 40 communities, but about 5 communities were added later. And overall on the program, YISC contributed to 54.1% overall PTY project. So I felt like though our strategies were giving out outcomes, but YISC contributed more. And one of the outcomes during my monitoring that I was really, really impressed with was in Bupe, where a YISC grantee lobbied for the inclusion of 18 young people into community health management teams. So at the community level, we have community health management committee, but young people are not
Okay.
there. But young people have issues affecting their health, right? So there was a need to include these young people into the health committees. They have done that, and this year they also applied to further engage these young people, build their capacities to participate meaningfully on the communities and all that. So for me, that's just one outstanding outcome I have seen for YISC.
Outstanding outcome,
Outstanding
because I see that it has really made you, let me say, diversify some of the, let me say, ideas that's probably initially when PTY was coming, because you are able to spread your wings through these youth groups to be able to give you the results that probably you can reach out to do all those things. I want us to come and delve more into YISC and PTY and all that, but I want us to take a break. So if you are watching the show, make sure that you are following NORSAC on the, in fact, I think my favorite social media is Facebook. So I usually say Facebook. Just go on Facebook and follow NORSAC. Now they said you are going to be paying for, is it Twitter or X? So I don't even like it initially. So just go on Facebook, that is quite common, and just like NORSAC, you will be able to see most of these initiatives that they are implementing, or just Power to Youth Ghana, right, on Facebook. I have a sharp brain. Power to Youth Ghana on Facebook. Just follow there and you'll be able to see all the activities that they have been implementing on the PTY project and program, and also the YISC project. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Books by Pastor A.L. Fant. They are inspired by the Holy Spirit, simple to comprehend, relevant in application, and so lovely to read. Grab copies like Dynamics of Kingdom Influence, Dynamics of Ministry, Mark is King for Church Workers, Money Matters, and she calls herself a woman. This marriage must work. No more curses. Loaded mouth. Secrets of Kingdom Dominion. The exploits of service. Things fall apart. Church without bleeding pulpit. Singles mingle, and many more.
Welcome back. We're still looking at the Power to Youth program that is being implemented by NORSAC and other partners here in, is it Northern Region or Ghana?
Ghana.
Ghana.
Yeah.
Okay. Not Northern Region. I was going to be a bit biased. So they'll be taking, so Mark, just take us through who is giving us the money for this thing, for the program. Who are the main donors?
All right, so the Power to Youth program is being funded by the Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but then we, as NORSAC, we do not receive it directly from them. We also receive it from Radges, AMREF, and then Sonke Gender Justice, the three consortium partners at the global level that receive the funding from the Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and also give down to the various countries. So Ghana and Indonesia are under the Radges, so we are receiving directly from Radges, yeah.
Wow. Radges. Which we are coming. Matter Inspires Foundation, which we are coming. So let's look at some of the organizations that have been privileged. But before then, I think let's look at how do I qualify to receive grants? Bernice, I'll come to you from YISC. Or I just get up and walk into NORSAC office. I'm a youth organization. Please give me grants. What is the process?
Okay, so for YISC Initiative Small Grants, we first of all send an expression of interest call for youth groups to apply. So when the youth groups apply, within a period of, okay, I will not put a timeline on it, but when the youth groups apply, we, as we at NORSAC, I mean the consortium, we sit together with using a committee that we had formed called the YISC Committee. We scrutinize and analyze the applications that we have received, and we use a checklist. So we make sure that it is, first of all, a youth group, and it's either women-led or youth-led, and it should the thematic areas they work under should be in relation to what power to youth is seeking to
Okay.
achieve at the end of the day. And then we also look at the number of years they've been in existence, just to be sure of what they have been able to do so far. And then we also look at whether they have received grants similar to what the PTY YESC would be giving them. So basically, that's what we look at when we want them to. When we want to select people for the grants. So from there, we look at what their proposal is about, and how many months that, because youth initiative small grants works within a period of 5 to 6 months, looking at the fact that we have to report at the end of the year, and within that 5 to 6 months, we have to also look at the fact that we have to get outcomes as a result of the implementation. So we look at the period within which they can implement that activity. We also look at the amount of money they would need, because Youth Initiative Small Grants has a limited amount of money we give out to these youth groups to implement the activity. So these are some of the criteria we look at before a youth group qualifies for Youth Initiative Small Grants.
Okay.
Yes.
And you from the MAE, what do you look at? Take us through that. She says checklist. Is it the grammar I have to write? The way I have done my letterhead? What do you look out for?
So just like Benny said, I think the checklist is just what she just mentioned.
Yeah.
That was actually drawn by the committee. And one other thing I like about YESC is that the committee is made up of young people. With the main officers supporting from behind. So the checklist is just what she mentioned, whether they are youth focused, whether they are youth led, have they received granting. So that particular question would help us to know which stream to either put them. If they have received similar grantings, then they will go for the flexible stream, right? If they have never, then we'll put them on system development to build their capacities on that. However, one other thing we do is that once they have all that, we still take them through series of training, like outcome harvest. That's for the female aspect. Because once you are implementing, we should be expecting outcomes from you. What are we getting at the end of the day? What stories do you have to tell us? So we take you through how to identify these outcomes, how to document them and the validation, the follow-ups and all that. We take you through that, and the financial reporting as well. Yeah. Okay. So whether you have them or not, we still take you through those
then Martha Inspires Foundation, because young people, I was telling some people that it's always difficult to choose. I don't know how it's always difficult to choose. Onga Ghana invited me anytime they have a cooking competition. Either I'm MC or I'm a judge. So they invited me to be a judge. I ate the food. I now forgot. I now forgot who to now pick as a judge. And there was a time they were also picking, like, I think some support staff for their marketing products to go around. And I was part of the interviewing team, and it was very difficult for me because that kind of thing. You have a checklist, but you don't also want to be like you are the bad person who rejected them. Then that was I think that was like 3-4 years ago. I was part of the interview panel. Some people will even come, even the name of the organization, they don't even know what they do. They don't even know. And it's like, because we are asked to be giving young people the chance. I'm part of the team, and it's like I am now like the boss. It's like they are now waiting to take the. So if probably I say let's pick this person, let's say I have a 60 or 70% vote as a person because I'm a young person than them. And so how did you manage, apart from having the checklist, probably you would have seen organizations that belongs to your friend or some organization that you are familiar with. How because me sometimes I find it very difficult actually to be able to select people, or sometimes people even do the wrong things, they misbehave, you can't even query them, you can't even fire them, you can't even, let me say, not do that or do. It's very difficult as young people. So how did you put all those things in and be able to still select the best out of that?
Yeah, so just like you said, it is a difficult process, but one easier thing I saw was that at first you look at what do they want to do. Does it align with what PTY does? Does it align with our 3 key issues? That's the first thing. If it doesn't, that one is very easy. You just cancel them out. But if it does, that's when you now go into details to now look at who are their target people, how do they intend to do the implementation? Then you look at their experiences and all that. So that is where the difficulty kind of comes in. But since it is not a one-person thing, I know, like, I have specifically what I'm looking for. So I was just looking for the idea itself, how they intend to implement it. Have they had experiences? Even without experiences, you know, some people may have experiences, but those without experiences would put in a very good proposal that you would be forced to give them a chance and opportunity and all that. So that was what I was personally looking out for. But I'm sure my colleagues also had specifically what they were looking out for. So we consolidated.
Okay.
Yeah, Benis
So
can
just
come in.
to add to what she said, we had this MNE tool we're using. So just so that we can avoid being biased with some of the youth groups, we shared this MNE tool with the young people. We don't bring them together to one place because sometimes even one person's decision can inform yours. So they do these ratings of the youth groups, and at the end of the day, it compiles the scores into percentages. So we use these percentages to decide which group qualifies or which group doesn't qualify. So that was what we used, just to stop this whole prevent this bias aspect of selection of youth groups.
Do you look at social media or anything you want to add up to this?
All right, so just to add up to what they have shared, when after compiling all this, we don't just go ahead to give them the grants. We ensure that they come to do physical pitching for us to know whether they really wrote the proposal, what they kept on paper, does it resonate with whatever that they are coming to say, so that we'll make sure that all these checklists are ticked. And then one other thing that I would like to add from that aspect is that people, the young people or the committee are not always at one place to say that maybe this person is my friend, give this person this marks and then all that. So as NORSAC, we give everyone equal opportunity if the person qualifies.
Yeah.
So we ensure that this is also implemented in the PTY project, and then we give them if they qualify. Now, coming to the social media aspect of it, we also, some of these youth initiative small grantees, once we give them the grants, we take them through the branding of the program. We build their capacity on content creation, and then some of them even come on the grants without even having social media presence and then all that. And as part of the communications empowerment to young people, we call them youth incomes. We groom people from the various grantees and then to take up their organization social media handles active, make sure that they put out whatever activities that they implement in their communities. So as we build their capacity, we also give them more visibility. There was an instance one of the grantees shared a story. We shared it on the Ghana PTY platform, and then it was taken by the Global for them to go and do a presentation and then all that. So these are all things that we try, in as much as we try to build their capacities, we also give them opportunities to explore around development communications and then all that.
Benis, when you look at PTY and how, like, what do you think that it coming to the level of the youth groups, do you think that, of course, I know that I already mentioned that you are able to reach out to a wider coverage and all that, but how do you handle the challenges? So Matter Inspires Foundation is a beneficiary of YESC. When we come with our challenges, how do you handle those ones? Because somebody might want to apply, but might have external challenges. So after I've received the funds and they go on the field, do you just leave them, apart from just the monitoring to get your report, but how do you handle our challenges that we might bring before you?
Okay, so because it is Power to Youth works with a consortium, we won't say that NORSAC is everywhere.
Okay.
And Songtaba, working in the 6 other districts, handle the youth groups that are,
in those
stationed in those districts. Yes, so when it comes to handling of challenges, We try as much as possible to reach out to these youth groups. And for NOSAC especially, we have this safeguarding mechanism where we share contacts with the youth groups in case they have any issues that's of concern that they want to reach out to. And we try as much as possible to address those issues, especially with regards to the people involved. So maybe Mark would help me out with the challenges aspect.
Okay.
Yes, but
All right.
that's
So
really fair.
when it comes to the challenges, though young people are in front leading the program implementation and then all that, we have technical staff that are behind giving these young people the expertise and then all that. So when it comes to the challenge, and let's say when we take communications like this, if they have a communication gap or a challenge at their organizational level, if the youth in comms cannot handle that, they bring it to the consortium. And because we are a consortium, we have diverse backgrounds, knowledge on development communications. Like I mentioned initially, we are three communications people on the program. So we take the problem, we look at it, how do they go about to solve this issue and then all that. In some instances, some of them post things. This is common with most young people. They see a meme, then they go and repost it, which goes against the guidelines of the brand and then all that. So we try to let them understand that this one goes against the guidelines, this one goes against people that you are advocating for. There was a time one of these young people under the PTY program shared a video of a lady abusing the other because of a boyfriend, and she was laughing, happy and all about it. She didn't know that was something very bad because she has shared it. So we had to call this young person and caution, this is what you did, and then these are the implications. It means you are promoting that, and then this is what we are working on to.
Even if they had posted it and used maybe a background voice and say that's not acceptable, using as like an advocacy, so that could have been better.
Yeah, that could have been better, but in that case, she was rather trying to make it like a fun kind of thing. But I think after engaging the young people, and usually when you are engaging these young people, you need to be open-minded to understand where they are coming from, and then let them understand the issue at hand. So when we engage this young person, the person realized that yes, it was a mistake. The person accepted the mistake and deleted it, and then we moved. So it's just like that in other aspects. So also we have the female technical working group under the program. We have the communications technical working group, and then we have the finance technical working group. So all these technical working groups give support to young people who have interest in these areas to be able to also come out with their ideas or to also take up leadership roles in their organizations. So basically that's how we handle with issues when it comes to
the youth female. Do you have like I don't know how to put it. Of course, I believe that you have a tool and all that you use to monitor. But when you go on the field, how does the response come? Maybe I'm implementing, you are trying to correct me, and I'm like, you to go away there, put you there. Like, do you get that, and how do you handle that? Because young people working together is very difficult.
Yeah, very, very.
One of our greatest problem is having to see or say that Bernice is the leader of this group. As soon as they say Bernice is a leader of this group, unconsciously or consciously, I'll try to make it very difficult for her. So how does it come from? Because if you're giving power to the youth, we need to also understand how we can also respect authority that have been placed before us. So how has your job been working with young people?
Yeah, so let me just talk about my second monitoring visit to Upper East region. I went with Mark, and we're having a conversation. I don't want to mention the particular project we were implementing. So usually we participate in their activity, then we just see what is going on, we observe. Monitoring comes in different folds. Aside the conversation, we also observe. So after the observation were done, I was engaging the participants themselves alone to really ask about how they saw the whole engagement. And afterwards, I was then engaging one of the grantees. But my co-officer was the one engaging him, so I had a call and I left. So I just excused myself. And then when I came back later, I was also asking the man that, so with this one, we are engaging young. Like I've not seen any young person here. Do you have other subsequent activities where you have engaged solely young people? Because that's my focus. How are young people being engaged on the program? How are we promoting meaningful youth participation? And then the man was like, I already spoke about it earlier. You were making call. The next time you do this, I'll cane you. That was my second Nigerian visit. I looked at him and I smiled. And then he smiled. Mom, you remember?
Wait, relax, slow down. He just said it there that when he spoke about you're making a call.
Yes,
and the next time you do that, he's going to
he already spoke about it, and I'm now sending him back. So the next time I do this, he will lash me. So it was funny. I laughed. I looked at Mark. I looked at Anika. Anika was there. And then the way we looked at each other, the mom was like, oh, I'm kidding. I just wanted to see whether you are bold or you are not, whether you are really fit for this role or not. And I said, oh, well, I wasn't intimidated, so it means I'm fit for my role, right? And then we all just made jokes out of it. Then he answered the question I asked. We had our conversation. I think that was just the only time I've had such an encounter. The rest has been very fun. So it's not like I just come and I ask you questions. First of all, we want to just we start in a friendship way. But I don't know what people have within themselves. That one I can't tell. But physically,
or even say behind you.
Yes, but physically, no, I've not experienced.
Except the kings.
Except the warning.
So
Mark, have you had
just adding to that, what she just said, it actually happened in the Upper East region, but then she didn't know what happened behind the scenes. After we came back from that monitoring, I told you we have actual staff, or let me say experts behind giving these young people the guidance and then all that together. So this was formally reported to the M&E lead, and then the person was contacted to redress. Then when you do this, the young people will not feel comfortable to come for this kind of. So these are some of the measures we put in place to ensure that they feel comfortable when they go out to engage young people. Yeah, my encounter has been, you always have a whole lot of encounters with people and then all that. People look at me as like, this small boy, you are coming to interrogate me, you are coming to ask about that. But then when I go to people, I always go with open mind to ensure that they understand really that I'm not coming in my own capacity, but on the ticket of the organization and the program. So I get this kind of, let me say, back and forth with people, but then when I see that it's getting out of hand, I involve those ahead, those on top, like
you get some big men to come and start.
Not some big men, but then these young people, when they see that we are just the same age and you are coming to interrogate me and then all that, so sometimes we have to let it go formally to let them know that the person is not coming on their own ticket. However, you sign up for it and you must go with it. And one thing we didn't mention also is PTY is based on Southern leadership. We don't dictate for people what you do. You bring your ideas, we co-create with you. We understand what you want to do. If it goes in line with us, then we work together. And that's what we do with the young people. We don't just say, Halima, Benis, go here, go and do this. We first of all include them. What do you want to do? How do you think that it will impact the Power Youth program and then all that?
Then that's getting very good and assertive young people. That's young people, you have to tell them, go and do this before they will now do it. Let's take a break. We'll be back to wrap up. Welcome back. Time is gone, but we just believe that whatever we have discussed here has given you an in-depth of what NORSAC does and what the PTY program is all about. And also for you to know that organizations are really out there to help young people. We are there to make sure that you are given the power. But you don't just get up with the power. There are strategies put in place to guide you to execute your power at will. So let me take their final words. Halima.
Yes.
Your final words.
So for me, what I just have to say is that PTY is one of the best things that can happen to a country. Yes, let me put it, especially for countries that have their young people at heart, empowering them to take up spaces, empowering them to take up initiatives on their own, to really work for their communities. If I can't talk for anybody else, I can talk for myself. PTY has really done a lot for me. I thought I was empowered enough because at the university I held positions and all that. But my first engagement with PTY, I was even shy to introduce myself. And then now I was picked from a background like just an individual with no background in PML. But right now, I've developed interest in PMO, want to explore the PMO field. PMO field is a field for just men. We have less women there. And I've developed an interest to explore that field to see what is there for me as a young woman. So I think PTY, I'm just one of the outcomes of PTY.
Wow.
Yes. So PTY is really a great program, and I really urge people to follow us, learn more about what we do, and then with the structures we are working on, I really hope even after the 5 years, the sustainability structures we are putting on, we work on, and then leave the marks in the community that we really want to see.
Mark?
Yeah. So for me, final words as a conspiracy, I will definitely tell you to go and follow us on all our social media handles. So on Facebook, we are Power to Youth Ghana. On Twitter, we are Power to Youth GH. Now, to the young people out there, I will say PTY has created an opportunity for all of us. And me as a young person on the program and then leading a whole group is a big thing that has ever happened to me. Not only at the organizational level, but then at the country level, which I connect directly with the donor and then all that. This is my first time of holding such position, and this has really opened my mind. It has opened my mind to other things outside there, and I will entreat all young people to look around them. We always say change starts with you. So within you, if you change your mentality, if you change yourself, you can change your community, and then from the community you can change your country. So let's all go out there, create a change, and then we empower ourselves. We don't need to wait for organizations and NGOs to come and give us money or to come and empower us to go out and do something big. We can actually do with the limited resources that we have in our own communities.
Bennett?
Yeah, so my final words would be to young people in some of the communities we are working in. It would be good if you try to get involved. And Norsak, yes, you can say Norsak is in Tamale and you are in Kwandai. But for Kwandai, we have Songtaba there. And if you reach out to Songtaba or some of the youth groups we work with, especially on the Youth Initiative Small Grants, we have Kwandai Model Girls Alumni there. You could reach out to them, get involved. Just around their engagements that they do, you can get empowered through that as well. And then we have some of our youth groups in other districts as well. Actually, for the Savannah region, we have the Rural Connect there, which is a Youth Initiative Small Grants grantee. In Tamale, we have Activista, we have Martha Inspires, our very own Martha Inspires. So you can reach out to them as well, get involved, and as time goes on, whatever you see, whatever you have heard about the outcomes that PTY has, you would also be part of that change story. And then for Upper East, we have Safe Menstruation Movement, we have Young Urban Women Movement in Bolga. So anywhere you find yourself, PTY is alive there and PTY is moving. Get involved, and then at the end of the day, you'll be part of this big change story we are seeking to achieve. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. It has been a very great and amazing conversation, because all the time it's like young people, we have just people talking for us. But today I'm so glad that we are here ourselves. I have been speaking with Alas and Halima Tusadia. She's a project assistant, and Mark Kubuga, communications officer, Ayona Bernes, project officer, all at NORSAC, also part of the Power to Youth project, helping us to understand what the Power to Youth program is all about. Hey, program. So the Power to Youth program, which has, let me say, a subset, that is the YISC project. So the YISC is the one that is giving professional support to other young people and also financial support to implement other projects within their districts, which Martha Inspires Foundation is a big, let me say, beneficial. I say a big because she said they are those who went through the proposals and they saw that we qualify. So we too, we are a big organization, because for young people and even seeing how the Power to Youth program is, and we qualify to be part of the YISC grantees, is really a big deal for us, and we are really happy that we were chosen. We hope to have a very long-standing working relationship with NORSAC and not only PTY, all your other projects. We want to work with you on that. It's been great, it's been amazing, and I just can't wait to see how PTY unfolds by the time we get to the 5th year of this project. It's been an amazing conversation. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Martha Inspires. Have a good night.
everyone, my name is Faika, and this year's Youth Empowerment Summit by Matters Inspires was an amazing journey. From the speakers to the energy level of everyone here, I actually learned a lot, especially when it comes to raising my confidence to being bold. And I also, one key thing I learned was that life is an adventure or it's nothing at all. I can't wait to see all of you next year, and I can't wait to see what next year brings.
First time, let me just start with, I was not there for the previous one, but this one has been very educative, inspiring. I got to even meet one of my role models, Ibrahim Mustafa, whom I have been looking up to for like the past, let me say, 2-3 years. And I got to meet him, he gave some very inspiring words. But the best thing I ever heard today was from Madam Antoinette Kofi, who said that you should dare to dream. Whatever you dream about, you should do it.
Do dare to dream, and the best time to dream is when you are a young person. But don't ever stop dreaming. Whether you are 50 or 60 or even 70 or 80, you can dream about a better life.
So I am daring to dream because I don't know where life will take me, but I am ready for everything that life will throw at me, and I will take it with full vigor. And right now, I'm just happy to be here, and I hope that they can organize this for the youth so that we can all witness some things like this, and then also learn to become better people in the future.
My experience at this year's Youth Empowerment Summit was top-notch. I learned so much from all the speakers, Auntie Georgina, Pastor Fand, Mr. Ibrahim. I learned to be bold and to be confident, and honestly, I can't wait for next year's. See ya!
Today is Youth Empowerment Day, and I happen to be here. It's very inspiring, and I'm very happy because I've learned to be myself. I've learned to be confident. I've learned to stand before others and to talk without shivering, and I'm very grateful to be here. I learned a lot from my principal, and she said, and I quote, that you should embrace your uniqueness and work towards your weakness to attain what you want to be and the better person you want to be.
There's no duplication of you anywhere in the world. So embrace your strengths and improve your weaknesses so that you can become the bold person you aspire to be.
So I'm very happy, and I also want to use this moment to thank our only mentor, Mrs. Mata, for organizing such a great program for us to be able to attend. Thank you very much. And we wish to attend more and more programs like this. It's very inspirational.
My name is Mohamed Rashida from Cow Point Senior High School, and I'm here for the Youth Empowerment Summit hosted by Matter Inspires Foundation. And the program is it's a very good program, and I've been inspired. And then one of the speakers mentioned that you should dare yourself. You dare yourself to dream. And then failure should also be a hindrance. No matter what you do, failure shouldn't be a hindrance. You failing doesn't mean you should stop. You try until you make it. And I really love that. And I've really been inspired.
This is not my first time of being at the Matter Inspires Youth Summit. I was here before. This is just my second time. Really, coming here, I did expect a lot. I expected that when I come, I would learn new things. I would get to network and socialize with other people. And what I have really learned from this summit is that for one to get to do something, you need to be confident enough for you to take a bold step. And also, you don't just get your achievements or achieve your goals whilst being in your comfort zone. You need to get out of your comfort zone in order to achieve your goals.
We have to believe in ourselves and we have to dream big. I mean, for me, what I'm taking home today is bigger and bolder. Whatever you have to do, you have to think big and you have to be bolder. If you are bold, be bolder. If you are not bold, be bold. If you are thinking small, think big. And if you are thinking big, think bigger.
And I would like to say a very big thank you to Madam Mata for organizing such a wonderful program for us, and I hope next year she does same, and I'll be very glad to attend. Thank you.